Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So we're a little over a week into the month of December. The Dow's above 30,000 right now. And if you recall, about a year ago at this time, my expectation was that the Dow might have been around 31,000. I'm pretty happy with 30,000 on the Dow, given all that we've gone through this year. But so we didn't hit where I thought we might hit. But when I was talking about this a year ago, I was not expecting there to be a global pandemic and all the economic shutdowns and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure a year ago when I said that we might be at 31,000, I also said, and that's unless there's some sort of a major, financial impact on our economy, which we clearly had. So I'm pretty happy with, a little over 30,000 on the Dow. The next question people ask me is, okay, well, where are we going to be a year from now? So I'm going to use all the same caveats and disclaimers, now that I used a year ago, which is this is not a promise, it's not a guarantee. It's really just based upon where we see the markets could go by the end of 2021. And the new number for the Dow is 33,000. We think that's a reasonable place for the markets to be a year from now, assuming that the vaccine kicks in, that the majority of people in the United States are vaccinated, in the first half of 2021. That's where that expectation comes from. Because once people are allowed to return to normal, then the unemployment rate will continue to fall. It's under 7% now. People will start taking new jobs. Employers will start creating new jobs at a faster rate, right? All of these things will start to recover again. Now, it's going to take a while to absorb, the millions of people that have been put out of work because of, the pandemic. It could take a couple of years to sort of reassimilate them back into the workforce. But the markets are not, basing their decisions about, going up or going down upon, what does it look like today with an almost 7% unemployment rate. They're looking at, okay, we have a couple of vaccines, soon to be a couple of more vaccines that could be, putting us in a place where more and more of these restrictions will be lifted. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to talk about today is a little different, and it has to do with there's all this, talk, especially in California, about ICU bed utilization rate. And in California, Governor Newsom has come out with a new executive order that says if there are fewer than 15% of ICU beds available, then the region where those beds are, and there's 5 regions in California, that they're going to go to the strictest lockdowns when we get fewer than 15%. Now, what most people don't know is that, typically ICU beds are between 70 and 80% utilized, which when I learned that, I was shocked because I would have thought that, that we keep ICU bed utilization rates a little lower so that, when we have an emergency, we can, fill those spaces up. But it turns out, no, healthcare is, part of our capitalistic system. And they try to keep those beds relatively close to fully occupied. They almost treat it like they're running a hotel business. Nobody likes to have a hotel that is, 20% occupied, so that if a party wants to come to town, you can, put everybody in there from that party. You want to run at a much higher occupancy rate so that you're maximizing your revenue, given that you have fixed expenses that come along with the ability to generate that revenue. And that's what's going on in the ICU right now. Now, no doubt, there are places that are 100%, at capacity right now. And what's a little disappointing, this has nothing to do with math, it's maybe a little bit of a political commentary, is no credible person didn't believe that when the flu season typically hits, which is around now, that we wouldn't see an increase in people needing ICU beds. This has always been the case. Every year during flu season, more and more people get, put in the hospital, and more of the ICU beds are used for, flu type illnesses. So it's a little disappointing that, that our elected officials and the healthcare facilities didn't do a little more to prepare for what we knew was coming. And so to add insult to injury, right, you get like South Dakota. I hear all this that South Dakota's fatality rate and positive test rate are the worst in the country. Well, yeah, I mean, it's cold there. What happens when it gets cold, right? Everybody huddles inside. And so one person goes out to Costco or Walmart and inadvertently catches COVID from somebody out there, and they come home and then they give it to their entire family. So it shouldn't be a surprise for anybody who does this for a living to know that when it gets colder and we're forcing people to gather in larger numbers, just because it's cold and everybody's staying inside, that these, positive test rates and fatalities, sadly, would continue to increase. But the markets aren't looking at that. The markets are looking at, okay, well, this is a thing we expected to happen. So the markets are looking at two things, and will continue to look at these two things. One is the vaccine. As long as this vaccine continues to prove to be effective and gets rolled out rapidly, the markets are likely to continue to go up. The second is, will Congress get around to passing some sort of relief bill? Some call it a stimulus bill, but at this point, we're not really trying to stimulate the economy. We're trying to provide relief to the millions of people who are basically out of money. So Congress, for weeks and weeks now, has been sort of juggling it back and forth with the Democrats blaming the Republicans blaming the Democrats for why we don't have a relief bill. But the markets are really going to be looking at that. We get a relief bill and the markets could pop again because, we're talking about, at this point, another $1 trillion of money put into the economy. And that has no choice but to filter through and cause companies like Walmart, Costco, Home Depot to all have better revenues, Staples, all kinds of companies. So be on the lookout for that. While all of the stuff that's going on right now is just horrible and tragic, the number of people who are testing positive and then needing hospital care and then worse, ICU care, this is bad, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. But we shouldn't forget that 80% of the fatalities from COVID-19 have been people over 65, and the fatality rate for people under 25 is 0.2%. So take risk that's appropriate to you and risk that you're comfortable with, but also understand that if you're under 25, you should maybe stay away from the people that are over 65 because they're the ones who are suffering the worst consequences. So that's a lot of information to go through, but I just wanted people to understand that, the markets are not reacting based upon, the daily COVID numbers, because much of this is already expected. It's baked into the cake. What we're really looking forward to is some additional stimulus and some vaccines. If anybody has any questions about this or any other financial matter, please, post a comment, send me an email, give me a phone call. I'm always here. I'm happy to answer. But that was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back again soon with another Uncommon Sense update. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.